Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing right now. We are going to do a bit of tape saturation using the MT400 multi-track cassette recorder, and it just uses good old bog standard cassettes, and that's all. Really dead simple. 4 tracks. Easy peasy. If you have mic line selected, then you can record in, and then when you want to play back, you press the input flip and you'll play back on tape. What I've got here is I've got input 1 and 2 coming in from my mixing desk, and that's a left-right feed that I'm actually sending out of a headphone port, which is not necessarily the way you would always do it, but it's the outputs that I've got. Bringing them in, I can control the levels here with the gain and the volume levels. And then I'm just gonna, when it's time to send that out and send that back into my DAW, I have it sending out of auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2 for left and right, and they're going back in to my mixer when it is time to record. So, should all just go to plan. I've done this before, so I've got a drum loop set up, a drummer loop set up on Logic. So we will just test that that is ready to send over. So we'll send that feed over to here. We'll record that, and then we're going to input that back into Logic. And now, this is not a top-of-the-line multi-track tape recorder or anything like that. It has got its imperfections. It is beautifully lo-fi. And if you want squeaky, squeakly, clean tape saturation, you are not going to get that with this. This is going to be a kind of a, not a bodge, but it's a little bit ghetto, you know what I mean? It is super lo-fi, and I love that. I really like pushing boundaries and experimenting with this kind of stuff. So let's bring in a track from Logic and record that into here. Okay, here we go. And you can see the level up here. It looks like it's peaking, but actually it's not too bad. And we will just let this run to the end of the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. So brilliant. Let's hear that back then. So we're going to flip the input over here. Input flip. So we flip the input over, and let's have a listen now to this. So it should hopefully all come through now. The system. So let's find out, shall we? So let's take that back to 75, where we want it to be. Back we go. That was too far. And 75. Oh yeah, that's the... Yes. He's definitely clipping, and I love it. All right, let's take that back to 75. So we're going to be about here. Okay, right, so we are going to send this into Logic. So let me just quickly set that up, and then we'll play it back and send that in to Logic. All right, brilliant. So now let's jump into Logic and we'll have a quick listen to this tape saturation. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a listen now to that tape saturation. Let's have a listen now to that tape saturation. So, okay. Now this is going to be dirty. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be really gross. So just adjusting my mic stand 1 second. Yeah, there we go. So, absolutely. Let's have a listen. Nice. Now, I definitely hear that is heavier on the right, and you can see that actually from the waveform. So we can adjust that a little bit and play around a bit, but actually, like, can we line this up? So let's try that. Let's just quickly shift this over a couple of beats. Now this is where you're going to see that actually it does wander a little bit. Like you can see, it just slightly It is just slightly out, even if I line it up. So we'll do our best here. But actually, yeah, this is... We got some really... We'll just pan it left a little bit. Center it up a bit. I actually think that sounds really nice. I mean, here's the original. And obviously that's really, really nice and clean and all that, but I think this is just... Oh yeah, I think with a bit of processing, a bit of EQing, and a little bit of and of course some compression and stuff like that, I think you are actually getting some really, really beautiful sounds. Also, not only that, but one thing to bear in mind is tape does not have a sample rate. So what that means is, on the actual analog device itself, on the tape machine itself, you can play it back super slow if you want to, and it will just sound absolutely awesome. In fact, you can adjust the tape speed manually if you want to. There's a little knob on top where you can just kind of adjust the tape speed. Of course, that means with it not having a sample rate, that you can play it back super slow and it will maintain all the definition of the sound, and you're not going to get that weird kind of crunchy, bitty, aliasy kind of stuff going on. You're gonna get a really, really smooth response, and of course, not only that, but playing it at half the speed, it's gonna be super, super deep. So let's just have a quick listen to this again. Yeah, you can even hear that it may have actually been slightly clipping on the track, which is, you know, actually for this effect, I think works really nicely. So let's just bang open a compressor and let's have a listen on this. So we'll get the opto up. Just set some things on here. I just think that sounds brilliant. And if you want to mix that with the original source as well, I mean, because you've got the sort of the flutter, I think it is, of the tape, you know, the playback speed isn't perfect, because obviously this isn't any kind of industry standard level recording tape machine. It was never designed to be used like this in sequence with a digital audio workstation. So you're going to get this flutter and stuff like that. And you end up hearing this. You end up with this where they're out of phase, and you end up with this cone filtering effect. But with a little bit of tweaking, you can solve that. There are some things that you've got to sort of work around and work with, but you can do some stuff. You can go and detect the beats per minute with a BPM counter that's just in the utilities, I think it is. It's one of these, I forget. But there is a Bpm Counter for one of the inbuilt plugins, and you can match that and tweak them to match one another. But actually, I think it's really, really good if you just want to process, say, samples individually. So just a snare or a cymbal or a kick drum, something like that, and you really want to get this dirty kind of lo-fi tape saturation. I think this just sounds awesome, and I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to be using it on some of the tracks and pieces that I'm producing and creating. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful or anything like that, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe and all that goodness. I've been Jensen, and thank you for stopping by.